What is up guys, Mr. Who's the Boss here, and hopefully you've seen our battery drain test of the Galaxy S9 Plus. We got some pretty surprising results. If you haven't, I'll leave it as a card above, and if you have, then welcome to the charging speed test. But just before we get right into it, I am running a giveaway of both the S9 and the S9 Plus. All the details are in the description below. It is free, it is international, so check it out. Let's go. Alright, so here we have all the phones with their respective chargers. We've got the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, we've got the iPhone 10, Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, Galaxy Note 8, and of course the OnePlus 5T. But before we get into this, there's something you need to know about charging speeds. A charger has two specifications, current in amps and voltage in volts, and the way to imagine them is as a garden hose. Current would be the width of the nozzle and voltage would be the water pressure, aka how fast the water's coming out. So both a higher current and a higher voltage are contributing factors to faster charging speeds. Charging speeds can therefore be approximated by looking at power, which is equal to current times voltage. With that in mind, the Mate 10 Pro actually comes with the most powerful charger of the lot, 22.5 watts. This is followed by Apple's measly 5-watt charger, but I will also at the end of this include fast charge results. The Galaxy S9 can in 2018 only really just about call itself a fast charging phone. It's got 10 watts, and this is the same as the Galaxy Note 8, and they are comprised of 5 volts and 2 amps. And that is followed up by the OnePlus 5T's dash charger, and that supports 20 watts, which is pretty close to the Mate 10 Pro's supercharge. But it will be interesting to see which of those two phones charges faster because, of course, the Mate 10 Pro has a much larger battery capacity, so more charge needs to be given to it. The iPhone 10 has the smallest battery to charge, but considering that the default charger, the one that 90% of people are going to use, only charges with a power of 5 watts, it is probably not going to be the first one to finish. In this test, we're going to start by taking a reading every 5 minutes or so, because a lot of the charging action happens right at the beginning. That's when charge is flowing at its very fastest. And so far, Huawei's supercharge is not off to a great start. The two Samsung phones are doing pretty well, and the OnePlus 5T has already taken the lead. Now, we're going to spice things up a little bit in this test. We're going to charge all of these phones with the screens off until the 50-minute mark, and then we're going to continue with the screens on. And that'll help us simulate the combination of times when not only you've left the phone off when you're charging it, but also the odd occasion when you're using it while charging it. As you can probably tell, the OnePlus 5T on the right-hand side is storming ahead. But that doesn't come as too much of a surprise. If you've watched our previous battery charge test, dash charge on the OnePlus 5T is a force to be reckoned with, but it comes with some interesting disadvantages. For dash charging to work, you have to be using OnePlus's proprietary dash charger, and also there's no wireless charging here, something which both the Samsung phones and the iPhone support. After barely 20 minutes into the test, the Huawei is really caught up now. That is sitting on 30%. And considering that is 30% of 4,000 mAh, that's really rather good. The Galaxy S9 Plus is lagging behind the Note 8, sort of what we expected to happen, but sort of what we hoped wouldn't. The fact of the matter is that charging technology just hasn't gotten better with these phones. It's using the same charger, the same fast charge tech, and therefore with a slightly larger capacity, you would expect it to charge just a little bit slower, which is a shame. And in the backdrop of all of this, you might have realized the 5T has tripled what the iPhone 10 has charged in terms of percentage points. And if you consider what that means for raw battery charged, then it's more like quadruple. Now, on a bit of a side note, if you missed our battery drain test that we posted yesterday, I checked that out. It has some pretty interesting, surprising results for the S9 Plus. Perhaps more surprising than what is happening on the charging side of things, but I won't spoil what happens. The S9 Plus is still clinging on to the Note 8 here, still only 2 percentage points behind, and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro is clinging on to the 5T similarly, but in terms of actual battery charged, it is actually doing quite a bit better. Alright, so we have now breached the 50-minute mark, so we're going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to keep the screens on for all of these phones, unlock them, we're just going to leave them on the home screen. We're not going to do anything too demanding because we do want them to charge, but we just want to see how the charging speed is influenced by having these displays on. It'll be interesting to see if the iPhone 10 even reaches 50% by the time the other phones are charged. I'm having my doubts. The gap between the Note 8 and the S9 Plus has widened. In theory, at least, having the screens on should actually help the S9 Plus catch up just a little bit because that does have a slightly smaller display, which should drain a little bit less battery, but it might take a bit of time for this trend to emerge. One thing that's also worth noting, which might play to the advantage of all the Android phones here, are the screen resolutions. Whilst all of these phones are running Full HD Plus panels, the iPhone X has something closer to 2K, which should drain a little bit more battery, but then again it has a smaller display to compensate. As we're moving into an hour and a quarter into the test, the OnePlus 5T is sitting very comfortably in the 90s, and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro not too far behind it. Both these phones are truly well ahead of the pack. The two Samsung phones, at least from what it seems right now, are not going to amaze you with their charging speeds, but at the same time they're solid performers. The iPhone is a pretty good example of how it could always get worse. Right now, the Huawei is really the star of the show. To give you an idea, whilst the OnePlus has charged 3,234 mAh, the Huawei has done 3,760. And as the OnePlus creeps towards 100%, the Huawei edges ever closer, with now an only 2 percentage point gap. The S9 Plus is firmly in 4th position, and it doesn't look like it's going to shift from there. It is well ahead of the iPhone X and quite significantly behind the Note 8. The reasons for Samsung not updating its charging technology with the Galaxy S9 Plus to Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3 or even Quick Charge 4 are curious. It could be because Samsung has had previous trouble with batteries with the Note 7 for example, and they want to stay on the safe side because faster charging has the capability of being more dangerous. Alternatively, it could be just because the S9 Plus, as with previous Samsung flagships, has used different chips depending on the region you're in, and they might want to maintain a consistent standard across all of them. Alright, so the OnePlus 5T has finished charging, the Mate 10 Pro has finished charging, but what are the final times? How much did the iPhone X lose by? And also, did the Galaxy S9 Plus ever catch up with the Note 8? Let's find out. As you probably guessed, the iPhone X came last. And in this very specific charging scenario where the screen was turned on partway through, the time we got was 3 hours 45 on slow charge. And the S9 Plus was quite a bit faster than that with 2 hours 33. This was then beaten by the Note 8, again as you probably guessed, 2 hours 18, so not by that much, but enough for you to notice. The Huawei Mate 10 Pro did pretty well, 1 hour 42. And the winner of this test, to no one's surprise, was the OnePlus 5T with 1 hour 32. But this is only the winner in the literal sense. This is the fastest phone to charge, but what that actually implies may not actually make it the best phone. Considering the Huawei has a much larger capacity and only took marginally longer to charge, a lot of people would argue that that was the true winner. But I'll leave this open to debate. In my opinion, both of those phones did particularly well, and the iPhone X with its fast charging wasn't actually too far behind the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, which is both encouraging for Apple and at the same time concerning for Samsung. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't checked out the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus giveaway, link is in the description below. And with that being said, if you did enjoy the video, it would mean so much to me if you could smash that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 2 million subscribers by the end of 2018. Let's see if we can do it. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you guys next time.